Hi, I am Sir Styles, and this is A State of Consciousness. A State of Consciousness is a conversation about mental health in the music industry, and specifically the dance music industry, which I call home, and how to safeguard or improve it in case of distress through the knowledge and experience of the guests that have dealt with it. The hopes are that whoever is watching and listening, whether they are part of the music industry or not, can find a way to help them with whatever they're dealing with. Our guest today is Corey James, who is this close to breaking the ceiling, as we say, which is something that myself and a lot of our colleagues and fans are looking forward to. So, hello, Corey. How are you?
Yo, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for taking the time. We'd like to hear from you, first of all, where you are now in your career and life and how you got here.
Yeah. So at the moment, I've just took a nice little break from shows. Over Christmas and January. I'm looking forward to get back on the road, but I've just been locked in the studio, really working on new material. As always, working on fresh tracks and constantly, yeah, just grinding in the studio. And yeah, I got here just by hard work, years of dedication, just literally sitting behind a laptop in a room, headphones, speakers, working away, and that's just all I've ever done, really.
On this episode of A State of Consciousness, we're teaming up with Release Records, who support all efforts to bring awareness on matters of mental health in the music industry and the world. Check out the latest track of Corey James on Release Records called Real Ones on Beatport, Spotify, and all the record stores and streaming services. From what I've been lucky enough to experience, I've seen you do the small gigs and opening slots around your area in Liverpool, and I've seen you tour worldwide and headline shows and play major festivals. Has the change in size, in recognition, and the change of your place in the industry made you feel different?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just all part of the journey, the as being an artist, it can be slightly um it's tough. It can be, well, 1 minute you can be on top of the game and you can be doing track after track that's just getting signed and all the big DJs want it. You're getting messages off people like idols who you've looked up to for years, and then you can have months where it's been quiet and there's nobody messaging and no one listening to the music, and that's the times where it can be difficult to stay motivated. But I think it's just the journey as being an artist, that it comes with the career. It can be tough, but I think as long as you love it and you've still got the passion and the motivation, you've just got to work through them times. But I mean, I treat every show the same. I treat every single show that I do. I prepare for. I spend a full week sometimes, doing edits and mashups, and just to give everyone, whether there's 10 people on the dance floor or there's 10,000 people, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? I want to give the same energy, because I know when I've been to see bands or DJs, you want that energy that they would give to, I don't know, a festival like Tomorrowland, for example, or Creamfields. You want the same energy that they would give to a small show of, an intimate 50 to 100 people. It's the same passion, same energy, and same love for the music. So for me, that's all it's about, really: being the best artist that I can, making the best music that I can, and sharing that with the people that matter the most. You know what I mean?
So, you spoke of some fluctuations in career and life. Do you believe that the high points or the low points are stronger? Do you think that one of the two has a bigger effect than its counterpart?
Uh, I mean, this journey. I mean, I don't know exactly how long I've been making music. I think I started. I've been doing music now for about 15 years, maybe like 14 years, something like that. And there's been great times, there's been terrible times, but I'm still here doing it. You know what I mean? And that's just like I said before, it's just all about the love of the music. And I love music. I can't go a day without listening to it. I can't go a day without, in the gym, wherever, on walks, whatever. I've got headphones, just listening and analyzing how I can improve constantly. So for me, that's what I chose as a career, and I'm just sticking it out. And through the tough times, yeah, it can be very tough, and sometimes you want to quit and you want to give up. And then the good times, you look back and think everything was worth it. The struggle, the hustle, it was all worth it. So the the good times always outweigh the bad.
So, at the tough times or at the moments, as you described, you were ready to quit. What was the thing at that moment that helped you stay afloat?
Um, I think it's just about consistency and discipline, really. When, like, there's days where the last thing that I want to do is to get in the studio. Like, the last thing that I want to do is sit behind the laptop and make music, especially when the morale is low, like. But I think sometimes, even if you just do it for an hour or 30 minutes, on the days where you don't want to do it, it's important, just showing up and doing it, and repeating and repeating. Consistency is key, through the tough times. You've just got to keep chipping away, and it's manifestation. It all works out if you just keep going, and that's my belief. That's my belief. And when there's been times where it's been lows, I've just chipped away and chipped away, and normally, especially from my experience, that's when good things are just round the corner. The big things that change everything, they're round the corner when the times are tough. You've just got to keep going and keep showing up and working hard.
Have the tough times you were experiencing in the music industry at some point leaked into your everyday life? Like, have bad moments in your artist career bled into your personal life or your family life?
Yeah, of course. I mean, especially, I mean, I can only speak for myself when it comes to this, but, like, as an artist, this is all I do. You know what I mean? I wake up and music is my life. It's my career. It's not just a job. It's everything. So it affects everything. It affects my mood. It affects my sleep. It affects the way I think. Everything about it. So it's like it does leak over, and it's very difficult, to switch off, especially when you work for yourself and you're an independent artist. It can leak over, but it's just, sometimes I've learned that it's not healthy to do that. You know what I mean? Sometimes you need to switch off, or you need to have downtime. Like, as much as me saying it's making music every day, and that, it is very important to understand when you do need a week or 2 weeks off, or to look after yourself and self-care, and just go on holiday and enjoy time with friends and enjoy time with girlfriend or family or whatever it is. It's important to do that, and I think without that, that's when it can become unhealthy, and it can affect you mentally, and stuff like that. So I think it's just about getting a balance, really. When you find that balance, I mean, it's easy saying it. It's never. It's easy saying it, but it's never actually easy to know and understand when you need that balance. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's just, when it comes to it, it's like, you like, there's something telling you, or you realize, like, this isn't right. Like, I should not be feeling like this 24/7. So maybe I need to just shut the laptop, go out for a walk, go to the gym, switch off for an hour or two. And it's important to do that, otherwise you will burn out.
So, do you have in your immediate circle, meaning among your friends and those close to you, people who are not related with any career in the music industry?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, pretty much everyone around me. Pretty much everyone around me. I'm the only person, really, who's in the music industry that is in my close circle. So it's like, they probably get sick of me moaning to them, you know what I mean? But it's important to talk, you know what I mean? I talk to people about issues that I'm experiencing, and stuff that's annoying me, or stuff that's getting weighing me down. It's very important to speak to them people, because sometimes advice, or you know advice from someone who's not in the industry, can help massively, because it's a total different perspective, you know what I mean?
Have you ever felt that because they don't have a career in the music industry, you couldn't talk to them or you couldn't open up to them because they wouldn't understand or they couldn't relate, so they wouldn't have anything to offer you? Or maybe even that they would dismiss you?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, because it's like, if, like, if my brother was to come to me and talk to me about his job, I can't really give him the advice that he needs. But I mean, as a brother, I'm always there for him to listen to him and hear him out and try and understand. And it's the same for my close circle. Everyone doesn't understand because they're not in the music industry, but they listen to me and they try and give me the best advice because they love me. You know what I mean? So it's nice to have that support and like shoulder to lean on when you need it.
Did you ever get to the point where you were really, really, really going to quit?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be an artist if it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? There's no, like, I mean, there's the odd person who might get the claim to fame at like 16, 18, whatever. But my journey's been up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. And it's like, that is the life of an artist and a musician, you know what I mean? So, and I think it's great because it also, without them lows, I probably wouldn't have made the music that I have today, you know what I mean? Because you kind of need them and the experience to make them to bring the emotion out in the records and really make art. You know what I mean? That's what it is. At the end of the day, it's art. So without emotion, there is no art, really.
Okay, where I was going with this is, has anyone from your friends or family or immediate circle ever grabbed you in the last minute before you went off that proverbial ledge and told you, no, don't, no, it's okay, no, you're gonna make it, don't worry about it?
Yeah, of course. I mean, everyone around me knows that. Like, I was born to make music. I was born to do this. So it's a tough career, but sometimes you can be feeling sorry for yourself, or sometimes you can be getting ahead of yourself and on top of the world, and you always need them people around you to just humble you and remember, where you come from, who you can speak to, who's there for you, who's not there for you. And yeah, it's always nice to have that support. And luckily I have got that, you know what I mean?
Have you also found similar support from people who have careers in the music industry that you know?
Um, I mean, not so much, no. I mean, the music industry is like, I mean, it's at the end of the day, everyone's trying to make it. You know what I mean? It's like it's not a rat race, but everyone's in it for themselves. You know, everyone's trying to get to that dream. It's only when you're in a team or like there's people around you that are going for the same goal that it's like that. You know what I mean? From my experience, I mean, I work on my own. Like, I'm independent, so I'm in the studio every day on my own. You know what I mean? Of course, I've got a lot of friends in the industry, and when I speak to them and we work together, it's great. And like, you're all trying to help and collaborate and work together. That them times are great, but a lot of the time, in my experience, I work on my own. You know what I mean? So it can be tough sometimes. I do have, like, close people who I can turn to for support and to speak to in the music industry. So I don't want it to make it all doom and gloom, because it's not. Like, there are people there to listen and to help, but it's tough when it's like a industry where when people shoot to stardom, it's like their close knitted circle. You know what I mean? And it's like it's not always like, whereas if it was like a 9 to 5 job, where you've got like your manager, you've got like the team around you to go and complain to HR, who's supposed to look after you, and it's like you don't really have that in the music industry. Like, that's the kind of bit where it separates. That was the difference I'm trying to talk about, you know what I mean? So it's like, especially for like an independent artist, like, there's not really anyone to complain or open up to and say like what's going on type thing. You've got to try and figure it out all on your own, and that can be tough. But it's just like anything in life, you just got to navigate around it. You know what I mean?
It's interesting you mentioned that because I speak also with managers and agents and other people working within dance music. And the discussion in whether managers and an artist team in general, for example, are doing all they can to support their artists mentally, not just professionally, because obviously professionally they're giving everything they have, but to have the grit to support their artists mentally is going around right now. And that's important because I've even heard of cases where managers force their artists to like take a day or a bit of time off or do things that help them unload the stress and exhaustion, and even cases when artists were like really, really close to burning out, and their managers would tell them to it's okay to cancel an appearance, and they put themselves between the artist and the organizer, the promoter, and they put themselves in front and protect them and take the hit business wise and make it work, as long as it was the best for those artists' well-being. So yeah, it is crucial as artists that we know that our immediate team keeps an eye on us, and we can be comfortable to tell
Yeah, yeah,
them,
yeah, for
you
sure.
know what, I'm starting to not feel great, or I can't do it today, because it can happen to anyone.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's important to have that, definitely. And it's great that that manager that you were just talking about has got that in place for his artists. Because I think there's like a stigma around certain artists or management that, like, if an artist needs to cancel a show, they're scared that it's going to be like a domino effect, or like it's going to be a consistent thing. Whereas that's not always the case. Sometimes it is just they need to, they feel burnt out and they just need to recuperate and go again. You know what I mean? Sometimes that can be the case.
Yeah, and most of the artists I know now, whether we've come up together or I recently met them, are not so much into the rock star life to put themselves at risk of that domino effect you described. They're afraid that if they party too much, if they drink too much, if they don't sleep enough, it will have a negative effect in their work. Most of the guys you and me know, they're in the gym, they take very good care of what they eat, they're careful with consuming alcohol, which has become a glass of wine rather than half a bottle of vodka at a show, because that's where that domino effect comes in. Um, they take very good care of themselves. As I know, you take very good care of yourself physically. So I want to ask, how much has that helped you have a better base mentally as well?
I mean, I feel like the only reason that it's changed, though, like you've just said, like back then it was a like rock star lifestyle, and now a lot of the guys take care of themselves. I feel like a lot of that is now because of awareness. People speaking out about how important it is to stay in shape and how important it is to work out and not constantly drink or constantly party. And it's like it's only after people speaking up about it and educating themselves on it that it's got to this stage. I mean, no one's perfect. Like, no, I used to be in the gym all the time, and then it gets to a point where you sometimes get sick of it, and then you get back into it, and it's like that's with me. I think it's just important to listen to yourself and your body. I've took breaks from the gym sometimes where I've like over COVID. I don't think I even stepped foot in a gym for about 2 years, and then now I've been back in. And it's just important because your body talks to you, and when you work out you feel better, you eat better, you hold yourself better, you work better. So it's like to be at a better to better yourself every day. It has like a domino effect again in terms of work performance, how you DJ, how you can sleep, how you can get up and then go to another show. It's very important to look after yourself, and even eating with your diet, the way you eat and you look after yourself, it has a massive domino effect with everything around you.
So this is another interesting thing you're saying, that your body talks to you. It tells you when to start things, when to stop things,
Hmm.
how to do them so you can take care of yourself. Do you believe that also your mind talks to you as well?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I believe it all. The way you think like about yourself, the way you talk about yourself, any words you put out there, it is all manifestation. The way you eat, everything is about energy. You know what I mean? The energy you put out, the energy you put in. Everything is it's like, if you're eating a load of crap all day, you're gonna feel crap. If you're eating clean, you're gonna feel great. And it's the same about the way you think. If you think positive, like about music, it's impossible to think positive all the time, and if you do, you're blessed. You know what I mean? So it's like I go through times where I feel great and I feel, unstoppable in the studio. I feel like I can do anything I want, and then I have weeks where I feel crap and I feel like I can't do nothing. You know what I mean? And it's just about recognizing that and realizing, it's you're only human when that happens, and it's just about trying to work through them times, talk to people, reach out to people. Even if that doesn't work for you, do something that does. Exercise, eat better. Anything. Read a book. So anything. Educate yourself. There's tons of things you can do to try and distract yourself. And think more positively and eat better or train.
So you've used ways to improve your mental state strategically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's easy to say it, like, everyone says it, and it's very easy to just, oh, if you feel bad, just think positive, because it doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? We all know it doesn't work like that. But it's like, I just know, like, after experience, the more you experience the lows, bad stuff happening, you always know that good things are going to come if you just stay positive. Keep working, try and block it out, and keep going. You know what I mean? And that's what I do. I try and work through the tough times, and if I can't, I do something else. I get out. I go to the gym. I go for walks. I just distract myself. Go to the pub for a beer with the lads. You know what I mean? Something like that. Just get me out, and tomorrow's a new day, and you go again.
Have you ever needed to think in a way like that direly? Like, for example, you're about to go on at a gig and you've had, let's say, not a great few days. It's happened to me and a lot of our colleagues. We're not always 100% exactly before we go on stage. And there's nothing wrong with that. A lot have described ways that help them get in a good place
Mm.
before performing. Not that the situation would affect their work, but in order to enjoy
Mm-hmm.
doing the thing they love most. So, do you have like a way or a ritual you do like 5 or 15 minutes before you go on, so you can go on and enjoy yourself in case you're in a similar situation?
I think like a perfect example was like in just out at the back end of COVID, when a family member was in hospital, like rushed into an emergency, and I had a show, and it was actually my own. I promoted the show. It was my own show, and the last thing that I wanted to do was go and perform. Like, it was the last thing that I wanted to do, and I remember just the most important thing for me is just preparation. Like, if I don't prepare for a show, I can't do it. You know what I mean? I've got to prepare. So like, whether that's me sitting with record box and just going through all the tunes just to make sure everything's right, putting them on the USB, making sure the USB works, whatever. That is my way of preparing. And I think for me, it's about focusing on the task and the job that I've got in front of me, and just that's what works for me. I don't necessarily meditate or necessarily do anything in particular before the show, but I just know that if I'm prepared for the show, I'm prepared mentally by doing the task, the track preparation. Making sure that I can basically give the people who are paying for a ticket the show that they deserve. Then that, for me, distracts me from anything else going around. You know what I mean? That allows me to just tunnel in and do the job that I need to do.
What's the time frame on that? How long does it take? Because that focus you described now, when you're doing that preparation, that is actually a type of meditation. You zero in on the software and everything else just blocks itself
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
that is a kind of meditation. So is it a matter of like the last 20 minutes? Is it a couple of days? How long does it take?
It really depends, to be honest. It depends on the show and the situation. Like, for example, there'll be some shows where I leave it all to the last day, and I wake up on that morning and I think, right, I'm playing tonight. I need to sort this set. Or it can be, if it's a big show and I've been like really excited and thinking about it all year or whatever, or a couple of months. I can start, 2-3 weeks out, and it can be the whole 2 or 3 weeks where I'm thinking about, I don't necessarily plan sets out from start to finish, but I like to, I like to kind of, I'm a visualist, so like I like to picture what the vibe's going to be like, you know, if this doesn't sound great, what other track can I have ready? If, you know, like, that's how I like to work. And I think that, like you said, that is a kind of meditation. You know, it distracts me from being too nervous and worrying too much, and you know, all the other things that go on around the show. It just allows me to really tune in and like give the best performance that I can, really, you know what I mean? So that's my way of preparing for a show. And I think without doing any of that, I mean, obviously I've played some last minute sets before where someone's called me and been like, so and so can't make it, can you come? And I've had to do it, and I can do that. But I think for really preparing for a show and, you know, blocking everything out, that is my way of doing it. Just sitting on the laptop with the music that I want and need, and get record box organized and get my USB sorted.
Do you know when to switch off by default? Is there a schedule that based off you say I work 8 hours and at the end of that I stop, or do you start and when the switch hits, that's when you finish working?
To be honest, um, I do it in phases. Like sometimes I don't know when to stop, especially if there's like I start a project that I'm really excited about. Like I'll just stay in the studio until I'm literally falling asleep. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's not good, but it also means that I can get a track done in like 2 days. You know, so there's like positives and negatives of it. But I think the older that I've got, I used to, when I was younger, I was terrible. I was in the studio for like 18 hours. I'd have 4 hours sleep. I'd get back up and I'd be back in for 18 hours. And then as you get more experience and you learn more and you find your way of working and your workflow, I think you can kind of have a nicer, like, you know when to stop, you know, because your ears get tired and everything that you're making after that, you just like, you come back to it the next day and it's worse than it was the morning before, you know. So it's like now I tend to try and get up, go to the gym, come back. I work all day like a normal job, and I try and switch off at 6 7 p.m. and then I try and just enjoy the evening, go to bed reasonable time and repeat it. You know, that's the ideal workflow for me. But obviously, when I get excited about projects, I stay up till 2 3 4 a.m. working on them. You know, because that's my passion. You know what I mean? That's what I love to do. So we can all we can all get stuck in bad routines, but it's at the end of the day, it's whatever works for you. You know what I mean? Whatever makes you happy. Sometimes I can sit in the studio for 18 hours still, and I love it, and I'll wake up the same and do it again the next day, and I'll sometimes skip the gym if I'm too excited about a project. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's very easy saying I'm going to stick to this routine, but that's the thing about like an artist, it kind of just takes over your life without even realizing. You know what I mean?
Excellent. Thank you for coming and sharing these thoughts and ideas with us. There was a lot of great stuff here.
Cheers, bro. Thank you for having me as well. And I think it's very important, and I love what you're doing, man, with the whole message.
Thank you, brother. I hope to see you very, very soon.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Thanks for having me, man.
On this episode of A State of Consciousness, we're teaming up with Release Records, who support all efforts to bring awareness on matters of mental health in the music industry and the world. Check out the latest track of Corey James on Release Records called Real Ones on Beatport, Spotify, and all the record stores and streaming services. That was Corey James, and I am Sir Styles for another episode of A State of Consciousness here from the studios of Lemoni Radio in Nicosia. I want to thank everyone for watching and listening, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and help spread the message as far and wide as possible. I'll catch you at the next one. Ciao.